Universal Broadcasting Network.
'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of hell.
A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at upenradio.com.
Everyone is a product, and everyone needs marketing to succeed. Let's talk about it right now on the C-Spot. Going to market with Wendi and Peter.
Hey. Oh, shoot. I did it again, Peter. My computer is like...
Welcome to the C-Spot, going to market with Wendi and Peter. Here we are on this beautiful Thursday afternoon in Los Angeles, California. And today on the C-Spot, going to market with Wendi and Peter, we have special guests, and we'll get into them in one moment.
Hey,
Wendi?
Peter, can you hear me very well? Because for
I
some
hear
reason,
you great.
Can you turn up my headphones or something? Because I'm not hearing very well.
I'll have to get Tony in here to turn your headphones up.
There's always technical difficulties in here.
But I hear you great. Your level is great.
Do you see me really good?
And you look
that's all I really care about.
Fantastic. Yes, you look great.
Okay, so Peter, how are you?
I'm great.
We have some really special guests. We actually have 4 guests in the studio.
Yes, 4
today.
guests in the studio, which is why we're just going to be looking at Wendi for a few minutes here until we see our guests.
That's right.
I've sacrificed my camera for the guests, so you will hear my voice, but you will not see me.
And I'm going to be really good this week. I'm not going to say anything like, Peter, why do you have to describe everything you're doing?
And I won't describe everything I'm doing.
I know you won't. So because we only have we have 4 guests in the studio. We only have a couple of minutes, and I think, thank you so much for turning that up. Thank you. Okay, so you're doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. This is the C-Spot with Wendi and Peter.
Yes, it is.
We do talk. What we do is we try to talk a lot about bringing products to market, even if that product is you. That was our old theme at our old station. Our new theme is everyone is a product, and everybody needs marketing to succeed. So we sometimes don't talk about marketing because we have too much fun.
Right. Yeah, sometimes by the end it's like, oh my God, marketing question real quick.
So anyway, I'm going to introduce the guests.
And first we do have a couple things to talk about before we get into the guests.
Oh, thank you. This is why Peter is here.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, we want to tell people that you can still find us on Facebook at facebook.com C-Spot Talk. And we do something every week called the C-Spotlight, where basically what we do is we feature a show from exactly 1 year ago. And the C-Spotlight 1 year ago today, Wendi, was actually a show that you titled Unplugged because it was you and I in the studio.
Ranting, and I was ranting.
And you were ranting about the current state of direct response.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but you can find that on our Facebook page because we don't want to mention the old station.
You could get it on our iTunes podcast page.
Podcast.
If you just go to iTunes and search for The C-Spot with Wendi Cooper, you'll find that. And then the other thing that I'd like to talk about real quick before you introduce your guests is that we want to kind of start an ongoing discussion about Kickstarter.
Yeah, we do.
And basically, so really quick, there's the Kickstarter we're going to feature this week and actually talk about its progress for a few weeks to come is something...
Which isn't live yet. It's not live yet, and it's called Flexi Splash Guard.
Flexi Splash Guard.
Okay, but it's not live yet. I have to approve it when I get back to the office.
And it was invented by a young inventor named Lexi.
Yeah.
And here is the visual there of the splash guard she's using at the sink. So
I just saw myself going like this. I'm delayed on my computer here. So see, I'm watching us. I'm going to watch us. So I'll put it here if you want to watch.
Wendy's actually going to be working with Lexi on that campaign, so it's going to be a lot of fun. The next upcoming weeks, we can find out how that's going.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, and then we have some great Kickstarter people coming up. But I really would like to introduce our guests.
And now it's time to get to the guests.
Okay, thanks, Peter. Well, I am really happy to have in studio 4 guests. Patrick Raymond actually is here. He's now the Executive Vice President and Creative Director and Head of Content Creation, Strategy, and Execution for Brand New Media US. And Brand New Media, so it's brandnewmedia.com, correct?
Brandnewmedia.us.
.us. Oh, .us. Not US, not US, not
.us.
.us.
Or .com.au.
Okay. All right. So we want to get that straight, because what I like to do is when people are listening to the show, I like for them also to open up another browser and be able to check out, your company and also the things that you do as they're listening, because people will be listening, at various times throughout the next century. Actually, they will. So anyway, that's Patrick Raymond. Is Patrick up on the screen?
Yes,
Can we just get everybody up on?
Okay. Yeah, we'll get everyone
Thanks.
up on the screen and get it going there.
So Patrick, welcome.
It's great to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's your third time? No, second time.
Second time.
Kind
Second
of your
time on the spot.
third.
Second time on the spot.
And then we have Megan Brown, Vice President of Strategic Marketing and Brand Development, also at Brand New Media. She's an expert in translating consumer behaviors, market trends, and insight into viewers' engagement and ultimately revenue. And yes, I am reading this. So welcome, Megan.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, you're beautiful.
Well, so are you. Can't take my eyes off of you.
Oh, thank you. Well, we'll just sit here and stare
Wow.
at each
All right. I like where the show's going.
And then there's Nicole Smith, Vice President. It just says Vice President. You're total Vice President of everything? That's pretty
I try to be.
damn cool. Nicole runs the U.S. operations of B&M, which is Brand New Media in Los Angeles, developing new business opportunities to launch OTT channels into the U.S. market. I have no idea what OTT channel is. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it's over-the-top channels. We launch IPTV platforms here.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And then
Here we
Pat Cowley.
Cawley.
Cowley.
Every time.
Howley.
Gee, I have known Pat since I was a young child, and I cannot say his last name. Creative producer, staff writer, brings an immense passion and refreshing perspective to his writing, whether as a contributing writer for Response Magazine or as a creative producer for Brand New Media US.
And
So
Pat,
welcome,
can I have
Pat.
you move into your left a little
Sure.
bit?
Is this good?
Even a little more.
A little
to-
closer.
Yeah, that's
to the-
great.
to the
Bite
vice
you.
president.
Yeah, and just
All
move
right.
move your mic with you there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Oh.
Get close to the mic.
Now it's
All right.
beautiful.
Okay, so here we are.
So welcome, Brand New Media.
Now, who wants to start off by Patrick? You were Raymond Entertainment. I screw everything up. Okay, so Patrick is Patrick Raymond. This is Patrick Raymond over here to my right. And you had Raymond Entertainment Direct. And you are now with or merged, or explain that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Raymond Entertainment Direct. We were in business for 16 years, developing content for direct response and television. I was introduced to the head of Brand New Media in Australia, Perry Smith, about a year and a half ago.
We're all on camera. Talking to the mic there, Pat.
Oh, a little bit better? Is that
Yes,
better?
much
there we
better.
go.
Bring it
Not
towards
close enough.
you.
There we
Yeah.
go. So I had the business for 16 years. I was introduced to Perry about a year and a half ago, who runs the company. He's the CEO of the company. Has a very, very successful business, a global business, but has had a lot of success starting the business in Australia in lifestyle digital channels. Which are amazing, and we'll be talking a lot about today.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings our expertise in both direct response lifestyle programming in a different facet, and it really opens up our entire offering of what we're able to do now.
I know when Raymond Entertainment first announced, which was just maybe a couple months ago, this new venture, I went online and I was really, really impressed with Brand New Media. I thought I want to be part of that. No,
Yeah.
seriously, I did.
Well, it's really exciting because it really targets the channels that we've opened up are a lot of the silos of things that we've done in direct response. We've got a 24/7 food channel. We've got a 24/7 health and wellness channel. Unique to our world, a 24/7 surfing channel, mysurf.tv.
Oh, wow.
It has surfing content 24/7, which is
Kind of like Islands
amazing.
Restaurant when you're sitting at the bar and they have the looping surfers doing their thing.
Only a Brand New Media, no looping. You get fresh content.
Right. It's live. It's live.
Yeah, and they're live. They're broadcast in Singapore and Australia. You can actually go to the different channels for those different markets, we're actually bringing them here to the U.S. The MySurf.tv is already live in the U.S. It's a global channel.
So these are, it's almost like UBN radio in a sense, because they do consider this content, right? Because it's video, live video streaming. It becomes content online, and actually we can actually put this show in for an Emmy. Did you know that? We could do that. So let's behave. Let's be really good at what we do, and this will be
This
what we
could
put
be our
in.
daytime Emmy show right here.
It's true. It's true. You know.
And then the last thing to say about the merging of the two, our company with theirs, is it's really kind of, our business in general and direct response is such a crossroads, and the opportunity to kind of really work with brands to open up new doors and utilize the expertise that we have is really unique opportunity. And it's
an important opportunity.
It's an important opportunity for sure. And I'm sure Nicole and Megan are both speak to that a little bit more, but it's definitely the next thing. So and we're already doing it.
The one of the things, because I don't know, Pat, I don't know if you remember this from years ago. We were always trying to bring more membership to the ERA, whatever, right?
Big brand.
Right, and we wanted, and I was always saying, we got to get into the agencies, we got to get into the brands, we got to get in the agencies, we got to get into the brands, but that was 10 years ago, 8 years, whatever it might have been. But everything evolved, and eventually. But the thing is that the mentality of the brands is a little bit different, right? So it's difficult to do that effectively. Megan, what do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly what you're saying about brands. I think what we have been able to do successfully is really help a brand evolve, and we've turned brands into their own broadcasters, and we do that at a very high level with basically three things. We create significant engaging content, we market that content, and we distribute it. So I think that's what we're able to do more so than anybody in our industry very effectively. And because today, on average, consumers are engaging in content 60 plus hours a week. We recognized early on that, it's not just about television. It's about any way that you can access content. And through our distribution model and our platforms, we've been able to do that very effectively and been able to do it in a way that resonates with all different audiences. So that's really what we're excited about.
Well, it makes it very accessible, right? I know I watch almost all my content. I watch it all on my iPad. I do. It might be television content, but I watch a lot of original content, original programming for sure, which is actually, it's a lot better than what you see on TV, seriously. Mm-hmm. So have you always been, Nicole, in advertising or in this
Absolutely.
type of business?
I've been with Brand New Media for nearly 10 years now. So I've been working on the branded content side for all that time and the marketing and distribution of our content. And prior to that, I had worked for a huge magazine company in the UK and for one of the major networks in Australia before that. So I've always worked in the content marketing space.
Oh, that's interesting. That's great. You know what I mean? So you've worked your way up the ranks.
A little bit.
I think so.
A little bit.
I think so, and it's exciting because it's a very cool company.
Yeah, it's a really cool company, and we're forever evolving. And we're quite lucky because we have we're always bringing on new people that have great new ideas and are very innovative and really credible in our industry, whether it's in Australia or Singapore or Germany or the US or any of the markets that we're in.
It's when it's digital, it's international regardless, right?
Right.
So anybody can access it. So how do you take into consideration, like Pat, you write, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. So how do you take in consideration when you're writing something, whatever it might be, that it's going to be seen by an international community?
Well, I mean, it always depends on the client and the product, of course, but there's certain things that are universal to consumers everywhere, so you always try and hone in on that. And when we shoot some stuff, I mean, even I think we were recently shooting something where there was a wine glass and a shot. So you even have to be thinking down to, if this airs in Canada, you're not allowed to show a wine glass and a shot. So we're always trying to.
Oh God!
If children are in the shot.
Oh, if children are in the shot.
So, you know, it's
I'm
little,
thinking, Jesus.
you know, those Canadians.
And they don't buy until the very last minute if you're selling them something. When I was on THC years ago, they would say, don't worry, because in the last 5 minutes, people will start to order. But I'm on air for half an hour, you know, on live TV, right? It's in the last 5 minutes, people start to order because Canadians take a while to make a decision.
That's right. But I think what's been really exciting for me is that, you know, being part of an international team, when you're getting the emails from the marketing manager in Singapore and then, you know, the marketing manager in Australia, and, you know, you're part of this global effort to take content to the next level, and that's been really exciting. You mentioned, you know, the conferences of years past where everyone's standing on stage talking about the next thing, and I think somebody referenced it over there. We're actually doing that, and to finally be a part of a company that's actively doing this is just been really
balls.
exciting. They do.
Can I say that? That's not a bad word.
No.
Yeah, you could say anything on
I know
internet.
I can. But I don't want to insult. I don't want to insult my guests.
And I would say that I think Pat can probably speak to this too. I was going to throw this over to you actually, but what's really interesting for us as creatives on the creative side is being able to do something that's going to connect with people in a more modern way, the way that people actually watch and take in content. And I think that, you know, Pat and I spend a lot of time writing dialogue for people to say things direct to camera, or suggestive dialogue that we love for people to say about a brand or a product. And it's just, it seems like it never changes, yet our times have changed so much. So it's being able to kind of tap into what people out there want to know about a brand, or the message they want to get across to them in a more unique, different way.
Do you find it because you're doing social, right? Are you doing what it was, Megan? Right. So I was just listening on the way over here. I'm a freak for listening to podcasts and marketing and advertising and stuff. And the U.S. Air Twitter. Did you hear about that?
Tell us.
Did you hear about that tweet? Oh.
No, what was it all about?
I guess over the past few days, something rather odd happened where a photograph, I guess, was attached to a tweet that went out by someone who worked at U.S. Air. A mistake. Okay, I'm going to say it because you can just go home and read about it. But it was of a woman using a little fake little airplane pornographically.
Oh.
Now, this went out on U.S. Air. So the conversation was really about the guy didn't get fired. But, you know, there was something else that happened and in social with a brand, you know, because now that's tricky stuff, right? That's really tricky stuff.
It is. And I think, you know, for our benefit, luckily, our company, we've got a proprietary back-end system. So
yeah, that's what the problem was U.S. They claimed it was on the technical side.
Right. But even beyond that, I think when you were talking about audiences, we truly have the benefit of having all that data at our hands. So, you know, when you're talking about writing for different audiences or different demographics, the thing that we're able to do, you know, with any of our brands is we're able to go and really get a sense for what that person likes, what's going to connect with them. We have the ability to look at market trends. We know what's happening right now. We know what's in the forecast to start really attracting viewers. And we're able to tweak our content, whether it's on the social platforms, whether it's on television, you know, whatever it may be. We really translate all of that data into content that resonates with that individual audience. So, you know, even whether it's a photo or a comment, we're able to really understand the effect that that can have, you know, globally. So we certainly take all that data into account and use it to really craft creative that connects.
Yeah. So isn't that's the key.
Right.
You know, we're a data-driven industry. We have been for 30 years. You know, we've tried to use it. Now we really should be using it. A lot of brands don't use it. I don't want to say that they don't use it. I think that they just don't know how to use it. And because in direct response, we're so accustomed to using it, right? But now you can gather it more easily and you can connect more easily. But at the same time, give them what they want, because they're telling you what they want, right? And they're telling you what they want. It's that simple.
Exactly.
And it's so refreshing to hear you say. It's kind of like the draw the target, shoot the arrow, or shoot the arrow and draw the target around the arrow. That's what we're able to do these days. But there are so many that are still, throwing it at the wall or just spending a whole ton of money, because that's really the cool thing to do.
Can I just add something to
Absolutely.
that as well? So our proprietary platform is called Channel Play, and that's actually how we output our content and our channels and can gather this data. As Megan briefly touched on, one of the main things that we can do with our content is we're always watching to see how people are connecting and engaging with our content. And then we can then alter our content so that it is the right duration, it is the right style of content, the right genre that they're watching, and then serve that up to them on our platforms.
Wow. So let's say you create a half an hour or something or other, and then you look at the data and you look at the interaction or whatever it might be, and you see that most people are bolting after 15 minutes. Then you're going to adjust that running time, basically.
And it varies based on the environment. So we certainly address all environments. And the great thing about our system, our Channel Play, is that it's responsive. So we don't have to worry about, is it going to work? Is it going to resonate on a mobile device, on television?
Right.
It's instant. It's responsive, and it takes away the worry in that issue. So that's another great benefit that we have with our system.
Well, let me just remind people who are listening and watching, we're talking, and I know that it's on the lower thirds, but we're talking to Brand New Media, and it's brandnewmedia.us. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick Raymond, Nicole Smith, Megan Brown, and Pat Colley.
Yay! After 10 years, we did it.
I can't believe I did it.
Well done.
I was practicing in the shower, but I was practicing wrong.
So many things.
Isn't it ridiculous?
I just hope we get the Emmy.
I know. Sorry.
We're still on track for the Emmy.
There you go. I was just going to say, it might help also because we kind of launched into how our companies merged and what it, and what's great about what we're doing now. But maybe Nicole, you could talk a little bit about how Brand New Media came about. And
that's what I would really be interested in that.
Sure, absolutely. So as a company, Brand New Media has been together for about 20 years, but trading under the name of Brand New Media for about 11. Our history has always been in producing branded entertainment, whether that's long format or short format series for broadcast networks in Australia and online. And media representation as well. So we look after a number of channels in Australia and New Zealand, the number one network in New Zealand, TVNZ, as well as having our own channels. So we've over the years, our media representation has changed a lot. We've done TV, we've done pay TV, we've had in-flight, we've had radio, we've had stadiums, we've had pretty much everything. We've had the extreme games, events, you name it, we've basically done it. So it's through that experience that we've narrowed down to be able to make better content, more engaging content, and also have our own broadcast platform. So we have a national broadcast channel in Australia, a pay TV channel in Singapore. We're about to launch a few new channels in the Asia market as well. And of course, now we have our IPTV platforms, our Channel Play channels being Food for Life TV, MyServe TV, Healthy Me. We'll launch ido.com later in the year or early next year into this market. In Australia, we have ido.com.au, which is the number one wedding website, and we'll be doing...
I was going to say, what is ido.com? Because that could be so many things. But when you say wedding, that
makes sense.
Yeah, so it'll be a wedding channel, 24/7 wedding channel online on all connected devices.
So we're just seeing a bunch of people get married all the time? Is that
Well, actually, ido takes you from engagement, thinking about rings, invites, flowers, parties, planning, everything to do
But
with
it's
weddings.
not sensationalism, right?
No, it's tips, ideas.
Thank you.
that kind of
It's
thing.
not the
advice.
Kardashians
No,
and the idiots.
No,
at home.
definitely not. It's not reality.
Thank
TV.
you.
It's
How do you
real
guys
life,
keep
real
up-
weddings.
How do you keep up with all that content across
Yeah.
all those different channels? It just sounds immense.
How big is the company?
We're close to, I would say, over maybe about 90 people now. So it's grown a lot, particularly in the last 3 or 4 years.
Holy moly, you're doing a whole heck of a lot. You're probably outsourcing a lot of stuff.
Well, no, we pretty much do everything in-house.
Oh, moly.
We have offices in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. They all have studios as well. We have a studio and office in Singapore, an office in the UK, Canada, obviously us guys here, and Germany as well.
So have you always been, sorry, this is now the Nicole Smith show. Have you always been, you are on camera.
A little bit. Hi, Mom.
Have you always been here? I mean, for how long have you been in the U.S.?
I've been here since August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever since you guys decided to.
So you
Bring
came
it
here
on
with the
over.
merger
Right.
to kind of look over things, huh?
Yep. To keep an eye on everyone.
Do you like it?
I love it.
You
I
do?
love it here. Yep.
Yeah?
It's fantastic.
I've never been to Australia, but my energy healer is from Australia, and we Skype. We just Skyped yesterday. She healed my energy from what has been happening to me for the past 2 days.
Oh.
I needed it badly.
Well, Australia's great. We'll get you over there.
Yes, please. That would be great because I get sick of looking at his pictures on his Facebook page of here I am in Sydney. Sorry, Patrick.
What are you talking about?
You have a lot of those, and I was very jealous.
And so we will seg from the Nicole Smith show back to the C Spot going to market with Wendi and Peter and talking about brand new media in general. But first, let's take in a word from our sponsor. So now today, Wendi, do you want to
Do a live read, or do
do
we
a
want
live
to do
read,
the
or do you want
commercial?
to run the commercial?
I'm going to just do a live read because the commercial's 2 minutes. And,
Okay.
it has questionable music that could be copyright problems. I don't know. This
Yeah,
is
so
the
let's,
stupidest thing I ever heard.
let's just take
I
a
own
moment
the music. Okay,
and
let's
talk
take
about
a
our
moment.
sponsor.
All right, thank you. We are our sponsor is Direct Avenue, which is a short form branding and direct response media buying agency and planning agency. Personally, at C Spot Run Productions, we do use them for all of our short form needs. I like very much, and I've been around for 20 years, buying and planning media with various companies. It's my show, I can say all this. And I find the folks at Direct Avenue to be some of the most honest individuals, responsive. Talk about responsive. They're responsive. It's really great no matter if you're spending zero on media and you're just planning it and you're just exploring it. It doesn't make any difference. You're still going to get the same attention that you would if you were spending $1 million a week. So Direct Avenue is a wonderful media buying agency and planning agency, and they do have a special.
Oh, really?
And I'm going
Do
to make
tell.
it up because I didn't bring my notes. Okay, they do have a special.
But you
and
got the gist of it. Let's hear it.
yeah, and the special is, so you go to directavenue.com or you send them an email and ask for Scott Kowalczyk. I don't have his number, but I would give it to you if I did. He will take your call. He is the CEO. Anyway, they will do a free media analysis. Got that?
Wow,
Number one, I
free.
got that done.
Okay.
Okay. In that media analysis, they will tell you everything you need to know. That's all I remember. Sorry, Scott. But
And it's free. It won't cost you
it's
a
free.
dime.
Well, they do a whole media analysis. They do an analysis of the campaign that you want to run, the product that you have. They probably would run a metrics for you on your cost of the goods and, everything that you need to know in order to know if you have a campaign that you are basically wanting to do in the direct response genre.
Amazing. And so you could basically just reach them at directavenue.com.
You can, and send them an email, and yeah, I really recommend them because I use them for all of my clients' short form media planning needs, and I love them very much. Thank you.
Excellent.
Direct Avenue, I love you. I'll call you later.
Great word to your sponsor, Wendi.
Thank
And
you.
now back to the C Spot, going to market with Wendi and Peter, and our in-studio guests
I
from
love the camera thing.
Brand New Media,
And I'm sitting right across from Pat Colley,
Pat Colley.
so I get to crack up the whole time I'm sitting here. Okay, so where were we going with that? Weren't you saying something, Patrick Raymond? No?
I was talking about
On
my
the
pictures
spot?
on Facebook.
Okay, no, that wasn't it. Never mind. Never mind.
Wendy, could we maybe do a little shout out to the guys back
Andrew?
in the office?
Oh, wait.
Andrew, Rob, Bo,
Rick.
Rick. That's it. The guys back
Andrew,
in the
Robin.
office holding down the fort
it.
for us.
Andrew, Robin, Rick, Bo,
Rob.
Rob. I knew there was another R. That's why I was in that.
We actually refer to him as Rob. Rob.
Rob.
And
Everybody
Dave.
calls for him.
Rob.
And the mascot Jax. the
Yes.
new dog
Yes,
in
The
the
mascot
office.
Jax. Oh, really? Is that in
Nice.
Australia?
No, here in LA.
Oh, okay.
And where are you guys located?
Yeah, where are you located?
We are located on Cahuenga West.
Same place?
Same place.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's a great area. It's just right up the street.
Yep, right by the Hollywood Bowl.
Exactly. It's right up the street. By the way, everybody, we are here at the Gower Sunset Studios on the famous Sunset Gower lot at the corner of Sunset and Gower.
Right, and you know, on the soundstage right next to us, they're filming Top Chef right now.
They are.
Oh.
Yeah. This is where
That's
they do
kinda fun.
Scandal.
Yeah.
And this is a beautiful compound.
Scandalous.
We're doing
I
our
love that
own-
freaking show. I have to tell you, I love that show. Do you watch that show?
I do.
Oh my God!
It's
Did you
awesome.
watch the
great
season
show.
finale? I don't want to waste your time talking about that, but holy shit, I love that show. Okay, that was great. And the way you'll appreciate this, the way that they didn't show she was pregnant the entire season.
Yeah.
How they covered it up, the way they shot it.
Spoiler alert, I guess.
No.
Oh, she
no,
was
she's
pregnant as an
really
actress.
pregnant.
Okay, I thought you meant the character was. And
No, so how you have to shoot
okay,
it is she was
wow,
always
interesting.
They were always shooting her so you couldn't see her belly. It was amazing. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, maybe it's a spoiler alert if her boyfriend doesn't know she's pregnant or something. So, and he's listening to this show.
and he's listening.
It's a reach.
Yeah, that's a thank you,
It's a
Peter.
reach.
Okay, so let's talk about capturing consumers with multi-channel strategies. I think we already touched on that a little bit, and we touched also on the value of evolving opportunities with branded entertainment. It's interesting. I want to talk a little bit about branded entertainment. People, give me, any one of you sitting here, a definition of really what branded entertainment is.
Should we go round?
If you
Go
can.
ahead.
Yeah,
I feel like I've talked a lot,
absolutely.
but
I think as far as branded entertainment for us, we think of it as really, truly lifestyle content. So, you know, taking an interest that's a shared interest on an audience and populating it with really engaging content, and then having a sponsor or doing some type of product placement so that it's not in your face, but it certainly has a huge benefit to the sponsor or the brand. And it's done through multiple ways. And that's what's great about brand new media is we're able to hit all of those different opportunities on all platforms with our content.
So how does that work? You think of a show you want to do, the content of a show, and then you have to go out and do you have the brand before you have the show? Do you have the concept for the show before you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we especially with our long format series that we've done for many years in Australia, it's actually been both ways. So there's been many occasions we've had the concept and we've taken it out to market and found like-minded sponsors and non-conflicting sponsors to build that concept out with us and to develop the content. Then there's been other times where we've been approached by brands who may be wanting to get into the content space or know that they want to do something a little bit different but not sure how. And then we come together with them and we will come up with an idea for them. And, a great example of that is the King G Jack of all trades we run for a few years in Australia, which was the search for Australia's best all-round tradesman, where we were approached by the brand to come up with a concept to reach tradesmen in Australia rather than just, a particular radio station or through engaging content. So we came up with this series, which was a tradesman versus tradesman over a number of different competition segments to find Australia's best all-round tradesman. We then brought on other non-conflicting brands that were also integrated. And then that also helps the brands engage with other brands that are non-conflicting. We've done the same thing in the food space. We've done something similar in health. We've done something similar in home lifestyle and home ideas where there may be a gardening section followed by a cooking section and things like that. So it's
Where
just grown
Where you
organically.
can be eating the basil that you grew, right, with the soil that was Miracle-Gro soil or something like this, right? But you're now dressing it with the kitchen show where I picked it from my garden where I actually grew this with my Miracle-Gro soil
And gardening
or
tools.
something. Yeah, exactly. Boy, that makes life a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And on the DR space side, just to get, because I know there's a lot, you have a lot.
Yeah, I
of
was going to say,
DR
like, we haven't heard a
Yeah.
lot about direct
Well,
response. What's
well,
going
you
on
have
with
a lot
that?
of DRTV listeners, so I'd speak a little bit to that, and that the way you could take take what we do, say we're doing an oven or a blender with
a Wolfgang Puck or a Kathy
I don't want to
Ireland.
I don't want to use that as an exact example. We'll get to that, but let's just say it's a famous chef like a Wolfgang or Jamie Oliver or anybody like that, and we have them on a direct response campaign. But we may also on the same set shoot a whole menu of recipes with that famous chef that maybe not calling out the features and benefits of that product. You're really shooting the content of the recipe with the famous chef that is underwritten by that brand. So we could then put that kind of content up on our Food for Life channel, because that is
using that same product using the product
we're just using the product. But on the on the masthead, it might, if they are one of the sponsors of the platform, it could be sponsored by the brand. So you have some integration there, but it's not, we're not doing the traditional DRTV sell. But however, when we shoot a campaign like that, we could certainly, if we had a wider offering to the client, where we're going to do some branded content as well as a DRTV offering, we can really kind of maximize the exposure.
So are you selling product? I mean, so are you doing traditional direct response?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, we're still doing, we will continue to offer that, because it is a form of branded entertainment. It's just, the predominant type of productions that are leveraged on our 24/7 environments are these lifestyle type content.
Right.
pieces.
So your direct response is a different section.
Most of our content is 3 to 6 minutes long. Some of it could be shorter.
Right.
So you might have we might have 100 different recipes on Food for Life with a chef, underwritten by a major.
But you're not. Are you
grocery.
using like a similar metrics to? I mean, are you gauging the success of it by the response?
For the channels, there's a number of ways, and it really just depends who we're working with. But audience to the site is obviously one. Engagement with the content, type of engagement, and how long they're engaged for. Clicking through, we have a lot of e-commerce platforms as well integrated into our channels. So there's really easy ways to.
That was really my question.
Yeah.
Is there e-commerce integrated into
Absolutely.
the content?
And just one more thing on the DR, mixing that into regular content, which we do a lot on the channels as well, because a lot of the content we aggregate as well, because we can only make so much, is we can integrate short format or various durations into existing content that we have to create a half hour, so it then becomes segmented with short form in between.
Short form DR.
Short form DR. Mm-hmm. So you then have a regular program, if you like, with short form integrated throughout it.
Online
or broadcast.
Well, it all seems so overwhelming to me, and that's odd because I'm never overwhelmed.
Well, that's what we're here for. We make it easy.
Yeah. I think we're all just getting.
I always do that.
Nice.
Sorry.
I was going to say, Pat might speak to the actual writing of and how we look at it, because it's kind of
Pat,
becoming a little different on how we look at.
Give me some tips, because where I go from here is I have got to write that script.
Well, once again, it does depend on the client and the product, but with the way that we've been viewing our creative is more holistically. We try not to view things when we're in pre-production and in the creative brainstorming. We're not viewing things as short form or long form or social. We're trying to get just the widest range of content we can that we then have, in our Rolodex to use however we'd like down the line. So we try and convince our clients to just view the entire creative process a little bit, more holistically, not so black and white as, I just want a 2-minute spot and that's it. You can leverage this content in such a variety of ways these days, and now
Definitely.
Our company is experts in doing that.
And then we actually have the technique to the offering to actually be able to then push that out now. So
that's what the great thing is as a producer, right? You get content, but then you always got the client. And then the client, you go, well, gosh, I always tell new clients or prospective new clients, potential clients, I would say, even though you think you're just shooting this 2-minute commercial, there's so much you can do with what we're shooting that it's not really about the commercial. It's really about the content that we're creating, and then how are you going to use it, right? And there's so many different ways to use it. But God, bang your head against the wall with that one, right? It's so
that's why it
difficult.
comes down to the client and the product. I say that because it's very true, but
But if there's a turnkey solution, right, where don't worry, Mr. Client, we can really make this happen for you, because a lot of times the brand or the client or whoever it might be, it's just too overwhelming for them, and so the commercial is what they're thinking.
Is what they want. So that's what I'll say, just so I don't, not to confuse, because you guys said, where are we at with DR? If somebody wants a 2-minute direct response spot and that's it, we can do that the same way we always have. All we're saying is now if they want to take content or themselves to a much higher level, we can now
to
offer
leverage
that
it
as well.
Right.
So it's really, the sky's the limit as far as what they want to do. We can do it for them.
And taking it out to multiple markets now as well.
Well, right. And don't you feel, Nicole, that you have to be a bit you have to be ubiquitous. I mean, it's because, I don't know, they came up with a word for this stupid thing, transmedia or whatever, and it's like, okay, let's call it transmedia. But, it's hit the critical mass with your campaign.
Right.
And now I think that with planning, you're able to do that in a very cost efficient way.
Yeah, and to Pat's point, even if it's making one piece of content the way that the client wants it, whether it's a spot or whatever it is, whatever duration, it's about getting it out to as many places, to as many eyeballs on as many platforms. And we do the transmedia multi-platform, and we do it incredibly well. And whether it's a DR spot or branded content or anything, we can output that content.
And from the creative side, I would say, regardless of the channel that we're approaching, it's all about a brand and a brand's narrative and truly telling a story to viewers that's going to connect. And I think that's what we're able to do really well, is to create that perfect brand narrative and then to curate all the creative elements into a really solid campaign that can reside in any environment.
So do you guys actually do the social? Do you monitor the social? You do the social? You do all of that? And is that like a really painstaking thing to do? Because you got to keep your eyes wide open all the time, especially if you're doing it for your brands.
It's exciting. I would say that's one of the things that's been really exciting for us to watch as a team, to see what it is that really makes people interact, to ask those questions, to share. And that's what I think we've really been able to leverage within our creative, is knowing what those hotspots are and working those in, really smartly.
How to integrate it, right? How to integrate they've been talking about, I'm sure you remember this with Ben Mendelsohn. Sorry, Ben, if you're listening, you're probably not, but forgive me. But, forever they were trying to do this interactive TV. Right. Interact with me, my television set. And it just really never really happened, and I don't even think it's ever really going to happen, because now we have all the other screens that are on our laps and in our beds. Okay, so but what my question is what social network, whatever you want to call it, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, what's the other ones, Pinterest, Bump At, Tumblr, whatever all that stuff is. And I'm acting like an idiot, but I do know what it is. Which one is it that you feel as though is the one that you really have to keep your eyes on, the one that is most accepted and used and responsive, to your programming or whatever you want to call that? Which one?
I would say, again, it depends on your audience, because it really is different how you're going to show that product or that content. So, for instance, if you have a food product, that is certainly very visual. So you're going to look at your Pinterest, your Instagram,
I love
things
Pinterest,
like that.
actually.
Oh, yeah.
And Instagram, because it's visual.
Exactly.
I hate Twitter. Here, let me tweet that.
Hashtag.
Hashtag Wendi Cooper.
Exactly.
Hates. Twitter is more of a... what is
turned into a place where people, I think, can get news and updates quickly. So I know a lot of my friends who work in media go there for late breaking news the fastest way, actually. So
Sure, it's not a social thing. I mean, when you think about it, it's not a social platform. It's
evolved like any good social platform that stays relevant, though. And I think it has kind of figured out who it is, though, even if it's not what we originally thought it was.
Right.
You know
It's not for the everyday person. Right. I mean, I was at my dentist office the other day, and the gal says I did something silly. Right. And then she says, I'm going to twit that. And I went, really? I really have to worry about somebody seeing that.
It is for the everyday person, though, to follow things and get their updates.
Especially for trends.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't. I just think it's the least. It's the most effective for breaking news. It's the most effective for if I wanted to see what's happening with like the London riots. That was really effective because it has its place. Definitely has its place. But when you're dealing with the consumer, I think consumer. Right. It's what's the most effective platform for reaching the consumer. Converting to a sale, bringing in a strong ROI. What social platform do you believe it really enhances, a direct response campaign?
One thing that I think is interesting, not to go on the whole Twitter thing, but the way in which I think it's good for a consumer is the way that they can interact with the brand and a brand can interact back with them. On Facebook, it's sort of like
US Air?
You're throwing things out. Well, I mean, to a degree.
There's a lot of apologies
Think
going
about
on.
Even, people who have said something at a company and that company will respond back to them personally on Twitter and correct a situation.
For CRM.
So in a public relations standpoint, I think it can be very effective for consumers.
For big brands.
And consumers love that, when they get a direct response back from a company.
Right.
Well, I have to tell you, so this podcast I was listening to is called The Bean Cast, and everybody should listen to it. It's a really great podcast, and this is what they were talking about. The topic was, is it getting ridiculous that brands are apologizing all the time, and so do on Twitter, because people will be sitting in an airport and just bitching about the line outside. Right? So there's a lot of that. And is it just getting ridiculous that the brands are just apologizing? And since they're apologizing so much to the public, does that apology lose its weight? Right? Is it really meaningful? Or is it just some dude sitting in his underwear, right? In his kitchen, smoking a cigarette, drinking a cup of coffee, saying, gee, we here at US Air are really sorry for what happened. When the reality is a lot of social media is done that way, right? It's all outsourced, and people are doing social media that way. But do brands using CR? Where is the cutoff? When do you start saying, "Hey, Mr. Consumer, leave it, let it go," right? Just because you have a voice doesn't mean you can just. How often do you answer? How often do you apologize? How often do you fire people? Brands have left agencies because some guy tweeted something thinking he was tweeting it on his own account and he was doing it on Lexus or whatever it was. What do you think about that?
I think that I think it's obviously a balance. But
good answer, Pat.
But I think as far as the companies go, what they can do is, you don't have to respond to every single person if you're US Air that's had a bad travel day. But if what's great about social media is you can track what's trending. And if they're starting to see that a lot of people are complaining about the same thing, and it gets to a point that it's gaining traction either editorially on news sites or however, then they can step in and respond. And that's what's so great, is having an outlet to say what you want to say without it having to be picked up by a news outlet, because you're your own broadcaster.
Well, here's the thing, and we're going to run out of time.
And we probably should wrap this up because we have a couple minutes.
I say one more thing. But I forgot what I was going to say. Damn it, Peter! Damn you, Peter! You speak, and I had this really great topic I wanted to comment on. Anyway, it happens to me all the time.
So
That's
we have
because
about
I'm 39.
We have about 2 minutes left, so
we do?
we could just.
Okay.
Oh, can I talk something
Absolutely.
really quickly?
Yeah, get it in there.
So to go off of the social media, I would say that we look at everything as an opportunity. So especially when you're talking about the consumer voice, the voice of the consumer, how we look at it as it's an opportunity to improve. And we actually have started to look beyond just your typical social environments and looking for more of the customer review environments where we can incorporate that
Exactly.
into our campaign to showcase, look, this is what consumers are saying, and we know that you're going to have the same experience.
You know, I was listening, I was watching. You would think I have nothing better to do than listen and watch and do all this stuff, but I was watching this YouTube video, and it was really about how before you set off to do a direct response campaign at all from the very beginning, all you have to do is, if there's a competitive product, similar product, go on Amazon, read the reviews, because those reviews will tell you exactly what they like, what they don't like, and what you need to say.
Exactly.
You know, and it's a great tactic. It really does work. And what I was going to say was, when you were saying that, Pat, all I was thinking of was that's what we used to do with call centers, right? When we see high volume with a call center, call volume was going in, you know, or there was something wrong, or well, and they weren't converting to a sale, or customer service all of a sudden is starting to spike at fulfillment, or whatever it is, right? Oh, something is wrong. It's just a new platform for the customer to shout out and for you to derive data from, basically.
And a lot of times people say good things too. We need to remember that it's not all complaints, like Peter
Oh, yeah.
mentioned,
Right.
the interaction with the company. A lot of times people do say positive things about a brand, and so there's that too.
Yeah, I've often thought, I mean, how many times have you guys thought about, hell, I'm going to go on Twitter and I'm going to say something like,
I get that way about Yelp.
You've never thought that? You've never thought that? Oh, Patrick's
Right.
He's doing it right now.
So Brand New Media has joined us here on the C Spot, going to market with Wendi and Peter. Can you just give us a wrap up, Patrick, of
what's
how
coming
people can reach you?
how to reach you?
Well, definitely, check us out at brandnewmedia.us. You can actually take a look at our various channels. They're actually on the website when you go there.
It's a cool website.
And just look for our channels that'll be coming out this year. Any major brands out there that want to build their own channel, we can do that. So, we're excited to be in the U.S. and making a big splash here. And
well, in 1 hour,
got a great team.
my 33-year-old, my man son, he is, and at 2 o'clock he has his job interview for being the liaison and the social media guy for Lexus at Team One. So let's all send him good energy.
Good
because
vibes.
Good energy.
There is a really good little connection.
And so thank you, Brand New Media, for being in the studio with us. And next week we'll be back live.
We're always live, Peter.
Yes. And we have a woman, Kieran Vanden Blink, who used Kickstarter to get to make a book, and it's being published next month, and she'll be our guest in the studio.
That's good, because a lot of people use Kickstarter and just put it in their pocket.
Yep. And then
I will be the first one. 1 second. I know we can go 2 minutes over. I will be the first one to say that when these rules start to kick in for people who are raising a shitload of money on Kickstarter and they start going to the Bahamas or wherever they're going to go with all that money, that's going to be a problem. They're going to ruin it for everybody. So crowdfunding, if you want if you want to do it now before it just blows up. It's going to implode. Mark my words. I said it about Groupon.
marking your words right here on the
Thanks,
C
Wendi.
Spot.
Thanks
for
Peter.
having us on.
Wendy.
Thank you, Pat. Okay, we're still on.
Back at Coachella.